Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to take a look at this new RC truck from DEERC. This is a 1215, it's a 1/14 scale brushless RC truck that has really cool RGB lighting. And of course, like I said, it's brushless, so it's going to be pretty quick. And you can power this not only on the 2S batteries they provide, but you can also power it off 3S. Now, as I mentioned, they don't provide the 3S, but you'll get considerably faster top speed if you do put a 3S Lipo or lithium ion battery in this truck. Now, I'm not going to test 3S in this particular video, but I do plan to do a follow-up video where I'll do some top speed runs on 2 and 3S to see how much faster it is and is their ratings accurate. Because they rate this at 46 miles per hour or 75 kilometers per hour. Though I also seen them mention 68 kilometers per hour. You know, these listings on Amazon can be a little bit goofy on 3S, but they don't tell you that in the text, but they do in one of the graphics. Though they have them both labeled as 2S, so they need to do some fixing of the product listing, because it's 3S. It says 46 miles per hour or 75 kilometers per hour, and it's around 45 kilometers per hour is what it's rated on 2S. So I'm going to test that out in a future video for this. Anyway, as I mentioned, it has a brushless motor. It has really cool RGB lighting. They also, another problem with the product listing is they mentioned it has oil-filled shocks, and it doesn't. I'll put a graphic up here to show you. Let's take the body off. It has just these friction shocks, and if you open it up, as you guys will see in the picture, there's a screw in the bottom. It's not really designed to hold oil. It would probably all leak out, and these are dry as a bone. So I have notified DEERC to have them update the product listing. I hope that they do, so they don't mislead anybody, because you don't want people buying this thinking it has oil-filled shocks and returning it because you are disappointed, which I would completely understand. Also goes by this name of Panther. It's sort of a stadium truck look, and I really like the look of this truck, and it ought to be quite fun to drive around. Now it's a 30 amp ESC, and that's why they're able to handle 2 and 3S. I got one of the Lipo batteries in here. Here's the second one. It does have a little battery meter on here, so you can press that, and it will show you how much battery power you have in the battery pack. It uses a Dean's plug, of course a balance plug as well, and you only charge it off the balance plug. You could use a hobby grade with a Dean's plug, but you would need like a balance plug extension to plug into the side, since it's sort of recessed in the side of the battery. They also give you a 4-way hex wheel wrench in here. If I can get that out. They give you a 4-way hex wrench, some extra body clips, Phillips screwdriver, wouldn't be from China if it didn't have a Phillips screwdriver, and a wheelie bar, which I'm not going to put this on for the 2S run, but and it might need it, but I'm certain it'll need it on 3S just because of the increased speed and get up off the gun, I guess you could say. On 3S, it may very well want to ride a wheelie, and it could do it on 2S as well. Now, the brushless motor in this car is a 2847. I gotta look at my notes here. 4,000 kV brushless motor in here. So let's get a little closer, and I'll switch cameras and I'll get a little closer look at the components. So one moment. Okay, so here is that 4,000 kV brushless motor. It's sort of in this plastic encasing, and there's cooling aluminum fins here. So that'd be nice to help keep the motor nice and cool. Here is the 30 amp ESC, and it is one of those dual ESC and receivers. They mentioned it is 3-wire, so it is to the steering servo. So that means that if you need to swap out the steering servo, there'd be no problems finding an aftermarket one, since it's just a 3-wire, not one of those goofy 5 wires or anything like that. You can see you have plastic tie rods or turnbuckles here, so these could be a bit prone to breaking, and busting. The tires, there's no foam in here. It's a sort of a harder compound, so not the greatest tires, but it ought to do okay. Now, this car costs around $115 to $20 right now after you clip the $10 coupon, so it's not the cheapest car. So do keep that in mind. We do have metal dog bones, so that's good. Plastic dog bones are never what you want to see, since they could bust so easily. Your A-arms now are all plastic. It's all sort of that composite plastic. Pretty good bumper here to absorb impact. The LED lights, which I'll turn on here when we get back to the other camera. Here's some in the front, and there's ones on the bottom. I'll let you guys see that. And we'll turn that all on. And then I'll get a close up here of the shocks again, let you see these are just friction. You could try adding oil. I'm not gonna do it because I'm almost certainly gonna leak out and have oil. And then if you get oil leaking out, you're gonna have dust and dirt, all this gunk build up where the oil's pouring down and collecting all the dust. So do keep that in mind on this. All right, let's go ahead and turn the power on since I already have one of the batteries in here. And let's just let you guys see the RGB LED lighting on here. So the power button is on top of the ESC receiver. And there we get some power. And then the controller you're gonna turn on, you hear the ESC make some noise. I'll power it up, now it's bound. And now you can control these RGB lights. I haven't set the blue, and you can see here on the bottom, there are the lights on the bottom. And you can cycle through these, so you got like here, this is chassis lights. So you can go through a whole bunch of different RGB light colors, solid ones, and then these breathing ones. And I think it's probably breathing now. Yeah, it is. And then you can go the other button on the controller, you can go through the front bumper lights. So that's how that works. Very similar to that brushed one that I reviewed recently from DEERC. Had the same RGB lights and the same color combinations. I think they call it 7 different LED lights. They can, of course, then go into the breathing combinations as well. On the controller, you have your steering trim and your steering dual rates. So you can set, like trim it up and also set the diameter, or the steering radius, I should say, not the diameter, with the steering dual rates. So if you don't want it to oversteer or steer too much, you can adjust that. Then you have a throttle dual right here. So you can set how much you want the top speed to go. So if you have a younger kid driving, you might want to turn this down. And as long as they don't move it, they can't reach top speed when they fully pull the trigger, which I just did right there and startled me. I forgot I had it plugged in. But whenever you power it up there, and it is full-wheel drive. I didn't mention that. So many of these RC cars nowadays are full-wheel or all-wheel drive. So that's pretty much everything on this RC truck. And I think it ought to be a lot of fun. So let's get outside and let's see how this RC truck performs. So I'll be right back. Okay, let's get the DEERC 1215 Panther brushless truck out for a little test drive now. Start out in the garage just so you guys could better see the RGB lights. I have it set to red. The bumper is just, you can set solid or I can cycle through all the colors. But at the bottom you can of course go with that breathing effect. You can see it kind of goes in and out. You can do all the solid colors or you can do that breathing effect, which I think is really, really cool. So let's take it out here and run it. I'm gonna run it in front of the house today. And I got my ramp out here. So we'll do a few jumps and see how it handles in those jumps, because as I mentioned in the table review, even though the product listing says it has oil-filled shocks or not, now you might be able to put oil in them. I'm just afraid they're gonna leak because they don't look like they probably would hold oil. So I would be careful. You maybe add it to 1 if you wanna try and see if it'll hold oil. I just wanna see how it handles the jumps since these are just friction shocks. And this is on 2S, has a top speed of around 28 miles per hour is what they listed at. I'm not doing any top speed runs today. I will do a follow-up video with 2 and 3S top speed since this can't handle 3S on a 30 amp ESC. But I want to, I'll give you an eyeball test to see if I think it's even close to that 28 on 2S. So let's get it down here and see how it does. It's got pretty good acceleration off the gun there. So, I didn't put the wheelie bar on as I mentioned because I thought in 2S it probably wouldn't be needed. We'll see here. It might be that it needs it. Yeah, because look, it wants to ride a wheelie. It's really kind of noisy. But yeah, it definitely needed it. Well, that's pretty quick. I don't know if that's 28. I'd say it's probably somewhere around 20. But we won't know until I get an official top speed. I just want to kind of get an eyeball test there. Let's see how it does here on the ramp. That wasn't too bad. It is a bit bouncy as you can kind of expect on, whoa, with it just being friction shocks, as I said. I have notified DRC, and my rep got back to me and thanked me for that and said they will look into it. So hopefully somebody does change that. It is a bit bouncy on these friction shocks. Maybe they can, I don't know, the inventory they're gonna have, what they're gonna have in inventory there is gonna be what it is. I don't know if they could possibly, make some new shipments with oil-filled shocks. Probably not. I think it's just, whoever made the product listing was not, thought it had oil-filled shocks. And they do sort of look like it. The handle's pretty good and it brakes good. Those tires are pretty grippy. And I think that's what's also making some of the noise, the pattern of the tires. Whoa, I missed her. This is not a very big ramp. My brother gave me this ramp. He picked this up on clearance, and it's a bike and an RC ramp. But it's hard to get a good run at it because it is really small. But thankfully, this size, 1/14 scale and smaller, even maybe 1/12, works on it, but 1/10 would be difficult. Anything bigger than 1/12 probably on this little ramp. Whoa, I missed a little bit. Seems pretty good though, I like it. If you did pick this up though, I would consider some oil-filled shocks, and that's not gonna cost you much money. So you could, whoa, and you can see right there why the wheelie bar, I should have put the wheelie bar on. I didn't think it would be needed. And it's not that bad. If you just really gun it full blast off the gun, you're gonna, it's gonna flip over sometimes. But the wheelie bar will keep that from happening. So I will put the wheelie bar on before I do that 2 and 3S speed run, since it'll absolutely need that. Even though you do want to ease into your speed when you're doing a top speed test just to keep your car under control. But yeah, I want to definitely put that on. Whoa, that was cool. It flipped over, bounced, and went back onto all 4 wheels. I don't think I've ever seen a car do that before. Yeah, I hate to keep dwelling on it, but oil-filled shocks would definitely help this truck not be so bouncy and absorb those jumps a little better. Yeah, this thing moves along good. I mean, I like it. I like it. It's not bad at all. Handle's good. It's pretty quick on 2S. I'd say it's at least 20 miles an hour. You get 2 batteries. It's very responsive with the control. The RGB lights look awesome. I mean, the red's a little easier to see here in the day compared to some of the like white or yellow. You can really hear it kind of bottom out there and then bounce as those shocks just don't cut it. But yeah, you can get oil-filled shocks. Whoa. Let's handle it, no problem. Nothing's breaking. You don't want. That's what you want to see. Obviously, fully proportional, everything, and it seems like I said, it seems to be a pretty decent little stadium truck. It really gets off the start. It really has good acceleration. Look at that. This truck's around 118, or had a $10 off coupon. If I have any codes, DRC usually does to give me codes. I'll check and make sure I don't have a code. They may have already given me one that lists with this. I'll definitely include that in the product in the video description and the pinned comment. I'll definitely include those if I have any coupons, but it's a little bit pricey for what it is, with brushless getting so inexpensive now. But it's not terrible, and the truck seems pretty good. For this price, I really wanted to see the oil-filled shocks, which I've been rolling on it so much. So hopefully we'll either get the price down some more or something to compensate for that, and hopefully they get that product listing corrected. All right, let's go ahead and take it out here in the grass now. It's time to do before we end this video, to see how it handles going through something, you know, some grass and some rougher terrain, and it just flies through it as I expected. Yeah, you can see there the bounciness as it hits the little ruts in the yard. Overall, this is a pretty nice little truck. I don't have any complaints except for the suspension issues that I've already obsessed on throughout this whole video. All right, guys, that should be enough. We got a little road rash, which means we had some fun, but no sense just driving this in circles. As I mentioned, I will come back and do a top speed test on 2 and 3S to see how this truck does and see how close it comes to the rated speeds that DEERC has. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing if you like this kind of content. If you're interested in this truck, there'll be a purchase link down there in the video description. I know there's a $10 off coupon on you clip, you know, check mark it on the Amazon listing. But if I have any kind of discount code that you can enter in on the website as well, I'll include that with this. And there's a decent chance if I don't have one, I can ask for one, and I'll certainly get one from them. They always give me one. So I'll include that down in the video description and a pinned comment. If you're new to the channel, like I said, please do consider subscribing. While you're at it, click the bell. That way you're notified, and not me, every time I do upload a new video. And as always, guys, have a great day.
The power of the dark side.